This is my HDP 50 that I haven't modified besides the double delete. I've only been shooting undersized 3.5 gram riot balls. These measure 12.4 millimeters in diameter with the factory detent. Hopefully you can see this. So right in this area here, you can see that hole there. Well, that's the ripped detent. Same goes this side. See how it's tapered in like that? It shouldn't look like that. So it's folded over, and that's probably the next side that's gonna tear if it isn't already. It's still making quite a good seal up top. The way you can kind of test that is blowing it. Even when this was brand new and the seal wasn't ripped, it sounded about the same. You know, there is some air leaking by there, but that there is no good. You can hear the difference. So it's just blasting CO2 out the sides like this instead of down in the barrel. And there is what is left of the factory detent. See how chewed up it is. Again, I was shooting undersized balls, so I was under the impression that they would not cause the detent to fold over, but I think what's happening is with the double delete, that extra added air pressure is actually what's causing the rollover of the detent. Man, say that 3 times. In any case, yeah, so I'm gonna show you my little fix for this guy. Here is my new detent in place using a piece of 1/2 inch PEX water pipe. Of course, it's been drilled to fit. It doesn't quite extend all the way down like the factory detent does, but it's not really necessary because the barrel has those 2 reduced shanks that kind of lock it in place. So it's perfectly acceptable that the detent is shorter. So this is how I make my detent for the HDP 50. I take some 1/2 inch PEX water line. I cut off a piece about 3 or 4 inches. The length isn't exactly critical, but the reason why I cut it a little bit longer is so I'm using this step drill. So this is a 1/4 to 3/4 inch step drill. I'm gonna drill down into the PEX like this. It was too short, I ended up drilling my hand. So I cut them a little longer. That way you can actually drill this side and this side. But prior to doing that, I've determined the length, doing it this method with this particular step drill, is 5/8 inch. So you can see my little Sharpie mark there. So I'm gonna drill in, and then I'm gonna use, you could hacksaw it. Back from my pipe fitting days, I had some nice PEX cutters. So I'll use those. Trick here is I'm going to use a glove because, well, I may have drilled my hand before. Not this time, but so I'm going to drill in. The first step is going to be 1/2 inch. Second step is 9/16. So that'll be 9/16, and then 5/8. 5/8 is going to make the wall really thin, and you got to try and drill straight. But you'll see what I'm doing here. So there you go, that's one side. You can kind of see how it's stepped like that. Now, this may vary from step drill to step drill. This is just a cheap Amazon one. Because unfortunately the step drill that I had, well, I got a couple, but the steps aren't steep enough. So you can see how shallow those. Sorry, I'm kind of standing in the light there. I didn't turn on the other lights. I should go do that. Steps are too shallow on this. You kind of need those tall steps like that. Turn on another light. All right, we'll do the other side and then I'll just nip it off quick and that's it. You gotta hang on to it a little bit. It doesn't grab too hard. Once you got that done, oh, I wore my marks off. Okay guys, well, I'll have to go remark this 5/8 and then, but it's as simple as once you got your marks, just snip it off with your cutters at 5/8 and you may have to touch up the end depending on the ball size that you're using. Again, it's something you just have to do it when you're assembling it, depending on what kind of projectiles you're using. Okay, so I went back inside and marked it. May as well show you guys. Oops, gotta get her in camera there. So just find your line. These cutters do make it a whole lot easier. I wouldn't recommend using an X-Acto knife. And you want to try and make sure that it is square. You won't really see it once it's inside, but it helps with the aesthetics. That's it. So that is the piece that you are left with. So what you do is just push it on. The thin side that you drilled out goes over the end of your barrel. Do I have one out here? I don't. But in any case, yeah, just push it on. And this is gonna be your detent side. Again, depending on the ball size, you may have to adjust that slightly. You can use a reamer or your step drill even. But so this is a 12.5 millimeter ball. See, it looks a little tight. It probably is just a hair too tight. When this actually stretched on, this opening kind of changes shape a little bit, and it tends to take these balls a little nicer. But you can see there, and it makes for a nice pop when you push it through your barrel.